Obi, or Obi-Wan Kenobi. This little fella we are going to be talking about in today's rescue intake story. Obi here actually had another companion that we also saved because, as you can probably see behind me, there's two separate cages. And these two separate cages had two Syrian hamsters inside of them. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn. Yes, I named them. I'm very happy about that. I don't remember what their names originally were. I think it was something kind of stupid and I'm like, nah, we're not gonna be naming them that. Are you kidding me? I think it was something to do with like butter and toast. Yeah, I think one of them was named Toast and then the other one was named Butter. Yeah, I think that's what it was. If you notice right here, he does look like he's in rough shape. I actually had to give him some coconut oil on his ears and on his back because he was very flaky. But you can probably see his flakiness right there. I was told that these guys were about 8 months old, and I honestly feel like maybe that's how long the person had them for, maybe, because this little guy right here is definitely not 8 months old, but he is very relaxed. As you can see, I'm like talking and he's like, that's totally fine. But when I first got him, unfortunately, they were being housed on some sort of wood bedding that we could not identify. And it could have been cedar, could have been aspen, and it could have been pine. Aspen is safe wood versus pine and cedar that are not, but kiln-dried pine is supposed to be safe, but others have been saying that it's better to be safe than to be sorry because it just dries out the wood. It doesn't really get rid of the toxins in there. There is some sort of irritant going on here, but we do think he might be older because older Syrian hamsters actually do exhibit these types of symptoms, and he did have some crusty eyes when we first got him, but his skin is very crusty. His eyes were actually kind of shut and they weren't doing so well. But as you can see here, if he would just chill for a minute, you can see his eyes are very bright and open. Before they were not. So we do think with this new environment change, he is a lot better. He was sneezing a bunch and we found out that he was being housed in a garage. You do not put any animals, whether it be ferrets, chinchillas, hamsters, birds, you don't put things in your garage because you cannot regulate the temperatures in your garage like you can in a bedroom. And if you want an animal for companionship, you do not stick them in a place like that where it shows lack of care and compassion for that animal. They will not survive very well in a garage where it's been dipping well into the 40s or the 30s at night. It is just not okay. So that is where we found these guys. They were supposed to be in a garage. We don't know how long for, but it sounded like he did have an upper respiratory infection that has since cleared up, but his skin issues might just be an old man issue. Now with Qui-Gon Jinn, I can't really report much other than these photos because he's currently in a foster home right now, but he is on the looking good side. Let me share with you the ad of theirs. This one was originally from OfferUp and it says hamsters with cages. Used normal wear comes with all you see. Now the first photo is the garage that they're supposedly on and it looks like they're actually on some sort of freezer. Not the greatest. And if we take a look, the first image is of a very overly packed food dish that I forgot exactly what this food is. You can totally identify it by the big fiber pellets that are in this diet. And there's not really a lot of seed mix in this diet. And this is where we see our first look of Obi-Wan, which he looks sickly. He doesn't look right. But we later found out it might have been upper respiratory infection along with his age to take into consideration. So that's really the image right there that said, okay, I need to help them. I desperately do. He doesn't look exactly right. The next one is of Qui-Gon, which he's much younger looking, or else he's got a better gene pool because that coat just looks gorgeous there, but he does look a lot better than Obi-Wan. And all you can see is this cage here. So that is basically the ad. So I just want to let you guys know if I did not make it clear in this video because I've been filming a lot lately for the surrender intakes and for the Craigslist rescues. This is indeed off of a Craigslist rescue and I take in hamsters, gerbils, and mice here at my rescue that's foster based. So we seek out hamsters and we went and grabbed something off of, for instance, OfferUp, where you're not supposed to be selling animals, but people do anyways. And OfferUp does not allow animal sales on its website. And so we were actually surprised that this ad did not get flagged and we were able to get them from this person. But this person was absolutely difficult when talking to because all they care about is money. They had a bunch of different prices for the hamsters and they were not going to separate the hamsters and yada, yada, yada. And it was just like you saw there. I mean, they wanted $60 for it. Now these cages, I do not know what they're called. They are are not the guinea pig starter cages, because the bar spacing on here is actually a lot smaller. But if I take a quick look, this bar spacing is much wider than this bar spacing that I can see right here. This is actually a lot thinner than this one. Weird. I wonder why that is. I mean, it's the same cage. You can clearly see it's the same cage, but something is different about the bar spacing of this one versus something like this one, where that's much bigger. But hamsters, as you can see here, cannot get through. He cannot stick his head through that. However, they do have this blacked out right here, which indicates this area might be, like you can see me bending right here, they could probably slip through it if they bent it. And that's not good, because definitely he could probably get in and get out of that way. And I forgot which one of them was actually in here. Actually, you were in there. Never mind. He was in this one. So apparently he was a little escape artist, because yeah, he was in this specific setup because the other setup was for, I believe his name at the time was Toast, but for Qui-Gon, this other setup here. But at least I have the other setup. I don't have everything from the other setup, but I want to particularly show you his setup because it's quite disgusting. But let me put him back because he spent a lot of time out with me to share with you guys more about him. He's an older dude. He moves slowly. He is very active. He does like to be out and to be handled. And just, I think this guy's gonna be great for a beginner hamster owner because he's, like you can see here, so calm and easy. And if I flip him like this, he's completely fine. I mean, he does go like, whoa, 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 what is this? And he is very heavy too. He's a chonker. He's currently on a 12-inch wheel right now just because he's got the big balls that like to drag behind. Let me just share with you what this cage looks like from the inside. I forgot to measure it, so let's just measure it on screen here. So when you go to measure the pan, you want to make sure you're doing it in the middle or at the bottom here, because the top part is where the wire is going to go. And as you can see here, it's smaller down here and gets bigger up here. But you really want to be kind of like in the middle, because this is not correct pan depth, because there's not going to be a lot of volume because of the size difference. So right here in the middle, it is roughly around 22.5 inches by roughly about 11. I want to give it at least 12. This one, that doesn't seem like a 12. Ugh. No, it is a 12. Okay, 22.5 by 12. That is roughly around 270 square inches of floor space. Back in the day, our recommended minimum in the United States would have been 360 square inches, and we've updated it to 450. It has kind of evolved to people recommending more like 600 in the United States, but we're still at the recommended of 450. This is not even 360 square inches. This is actually smaller than a 20-gallon long tank. So unfortunately, this is not adequate for your small animal companion, but it is a lot bigger than the KT Critter Trails or stuff like the Tiny Tails that's coming out now. And this does have a lot of height in here, which is good, because even if somebody were to get the wrong size, like this person did, they did add in their own wheels. Syrians should have a 10 to a 12-inch wheel, just because these wheels cause back pain, issues, and inflammation, and you want to make sure that they're completely able to keep their back straight. If their nose is going to be touching the wheel part over here, then that's way too small. You want to give them room. You don't just put yourself on a small little treadmill. You want to make sure that the treadmill is big enough for you. It's just like the same with bike. You want to be on the correct size bike. If you're on a too big bike, it looks kind of weird and wrong. You can't really run on it because maybe it's hard for you. Same with like a smaller hamster on a 12-inch wheel. When you have like a robo on a 12-inch wheel, they can't really push it. They can't really run on it. It's too much. But if you got a really big boy and he's on a little tiny tricycle, it's gonna be uncomfortable. Hopefully that's a good comparison. This right here is an 8.25-inch wheel. This is good for dwarf hamsters, not Syrians. And on this particular one, even though we've cleaned it out a little bit and there's a lot of urine stains inside of here, there is a water bottle like this. But this was Qui-Gon Jinn's setup here. Poor Obi-Wan's setup. It's gonna be disgusting because of the inside. We left it for you guys. This is a very freaking large water bottle. This is a rabbit water bottle. Why is it here? Why is it inside of a hamster cage? Why? So this is what it is. This is like the size of your 16-ounce soda bottle. This is as big as my head. As you can see here, they were chewing it up. They just did not like it. They were frustrated. Is the water actually dispensing? I believe it is. Yes, it is dispensing. Too big of a water bottle to be having for hamsters. They really don't need that. And it's easier for bacteria to grow inside of the water bottle because as they're licking, stuff can go up the nozzle and get into the water. And if you're not cleaning out the bottle, of course, bacteria can get in there. But the problem with this that seriously shows the lack of care and the, oh, I just want money, give me money, I'm just gonna be a complete, I would call him an ass. Really did not communicate that great either. But the water bottle was sitting right on top of the food bowl in this situation, soaking it all up right here. And there was another food bowl in here that they used instead, which is even stupider because this is a seasoning cap for your seasonings they use on food. They use this instead for some freaking reasons. And people could say that, well, they could have been using this as a water bowl catcher because maybe it was just leaking too much. But as you can see in there, there's soggy bedding. They had no chew toys, none, inside this enclosure, which again is very crucial. And everybody I've been seeing, even the ones that seem to have better sanitary conditions than stuff like this in here, ugh, they don't even have chew toys. Who is not making this clear to people that their incisors constantly grow and they need chew toys? If you're not providing them with chew toys, their teeth could get misaligned, they could start chewing on the bars, which is not natural to them, and they cannot break up the bars despite what people think. Oh, they're chewing the bars, it's so cute, they're just trying to gnaw to get their teeth down. No, they really can't. They need actual wood to start working away at their teeth. It's kind of like with nail filers. You know, we have nail filers because that material can naturally work down our nails. It's so natural. Wood is so natural to them. Don't neglect your chew toys. All right. And of course, this is the, and maybe you guys will recognize it. This was from the arcade, which I still have. The arcade Critterville hamster cage that's on Amazon for about $56.99. That's a terrible cage. And it seems like they might have had that cage before. And like I told you in that review video, the plastic components that were keeping the cage in and secure probably broke, and that's why they ended up in this. But they still kept one part of the cage. But the rest is just disgusting. Oh my gosh. Let's see if I can hold stuff in here. Ah, there's a fly in here. 7. Did anybody see that? You guys like to point out all the bugs in these types of videos. So you're like, oh my gosh, Munchie's touching that. I've touched worse. Anyways, that's what it looks like. It's really crappy. Oh my god, I feel like the flies in my mouth. Why do I feel like the flies in my mouth? If I rummage through here, you can see how dirty like this part is. You see that? See that urine pile here? It's disgusting and it's caked on, so somebody wasn't deep cleaning this weekly because this setup right here needed to be deep cleaned weekly, meaning get rid of all the bedding and stuff. And of course, this is a very big pan. This right here, I want to say because I didn't measure it, I'm not gonna touch my tape measure now, but this pan looks like it's about maybe 5 inches because I know the preview is 6 inches and this kind of looks like 5 inches just below it. But you could fit so much bedding in here, and this person, for whatever reason, see? It only went up to here, which that looks to be just an inch. That really does. That's so sad. They used their bedding to burrow in it. Oh, and if we go to this side, we can see a little bit cleaner bedding right here, but it still has all the poops inside of it. And they're very tiny poops. That's really tiny poops. I guess I can pick up the poops now because, you know, I've already touched this, but let's see. Here's a tiny poop. That is a very, yeah, I'm showing you guys poops on my videos, and that isn't that great? That's a very tiny Syrian poop. That means that they were not getting the adequate nutrition that they need. Syrian poops are much bigger, and for the size of Obi-Wan, this looks very bad. That's probably why his coat's not so great. Once we get the nutrients in him and he's getting what he needs from his seed mix, because like I showed before, it didn't look like he had seed mix in here. It looked completely nasty. Hopefully with the nutrients, he will have a better looking coat and hopefully the flakiness will go away. Will the flakiness go away just because of diet? It's really hard to say, but it will definitely help him out. This is so neglectful. It sucks. The person obviously didn't care and they definitely just wanted money. What we were told was the reason for rehoming was because family members left and it might have been their family members' responsibility to take care of these guys and they just ended up leaving. So that's upsetting, because that means that these animals were abandoned. Even though they were being left with somebody, you don't leave an animal with a person when that person did not want the animal in the first place. Don't. It's just, this is the neglect that will come from it. If you think that, oh, I'm gonna go off to college, my mom and dad will take care of my hamster, my gerbil, my mouse, my chameleon, my blah, 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 and they've never, ever been interested in taking care of your hamster, gerbil, mouse, whatever before, and you think now they will? They won't. They won't. I've already said in my Craigslist rehoming ads that people's parents are saying, hey, we're getting rid of our daughter's hamster. She went off to college, left it here with us. We don't want to take care of it. And I've heard so many stories from you guys in comments saying that you went off to college, you thought your parents were going to take care of your animal, and they ended up rehoming it. It's just, what do you expect? You just don't abandon an animal like that, even if you're going to college. And unfortunately, there is many colleges around here that will not take in pets, even if you register them as an emotional support animal, ESA. Some colleges need you to fill out paperwork in order to keep your animal there. If you are found with an animal inside of your dorm room, or if you bring it on the college campus, they can legally call animal control and remove it. It's that bad, so don't do that. If you are on college campus right now and you do have a small animal, sometimes they will allow fish tanks with fish inside of them on campus because it's easy to maintain, but they don't like what they consider as rodents on the property. We've actually had a few people inquire from campuses, and their campus have literally said, sorry, we don't allow our students to have this type of animal on the premise. So we don't risk rehoming them to people on campuses, unfortunately, due to the laws in our state. But maybe the laws in your state are much different. But a lot of the comments I've read, like I said, that's not the case, and it's very sad. So think before going off to college. Your hamster might live 4 to 5 years, depending on if it's a Roborowski or not. That's like one of the longest living hamsters. Syrians typically don't live longer than 2 years, and it's rare that they ever get to 3 years or beyond for Syrians. And then for dwarf hamsters, they usually are around 1.5, 2, or even maybe 3 years. Hamsters still matter. Stop this whole throwaway impulsive pet thing, or saying that hamsters are only for kids, which they're not, because a companion animal could be for anybody out there. Let's just stop this now, nip it in the bud, and say, okay, I don't need this animal right now. I would like to have this animal, but because I'm going off to college, let's not do that. So anyways, there's me rambling. I hope you appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the show and tell today. Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon will be adopted to great people. We always like to review people's applications and see who is the best fit to take care of these animals. And don't worry, these animals are going to be going into loving homes in the near future. So thank you guys so much for supporting the channel and supporting these types of videos. I hope you really did truly enjoy it. And if you did, hit like. If you would like to leave a comment down below, you're welcome to do so, relevant to this video of course, and subscribe if you're new here and would like to become a part of the Munchkin family. And now I'm gonna go wash my hands and turn off my camera with my knuckles. Goodbye!